Hi everyone. So we've got a video already, the previous one, that focuses on the character of Ane in the Panopticon. This video is just a very quick kind of run through the sort of things that you might want to consider when looking at what you might describe as the other three kind of main characters. Certainly the other three girls that Ane bonds with inside the Panopticon, and that's Isla, Tash, and Shortie. So just very quick, giving you an idea of what you should be looking at and thinking about for your own notes, rather than dishing out answers and telling you what you should be writing down. So start with, I think I would start with Isla. And we've got there how she's described in the sort of opening of the play. I think it's probably reasonable to see Isla as the most tragic character in the play, for obvious reasons. We've got the issues around how she's ended up in care. You've got the issues around her kids, the fact that she's even got kids at that kind of age, but what happens to them, the reason that they're taken away, the reason that she can't have them back, and obviously the way her story ends following what happens to Tash as well. Throughout, if you look at the play, you'll see throughout it that a character who I think is very vulnerable, but certainly at some points there's sort of flashes of hopefulness in there, usually tied to Tash and the kids, and obviously you'll need to be able to discuss and sort of analyse the implications of not just her death, but how she dies and the way in which all of that comes together to allow Isla to sort of, in some ways, sort of symbolise everything wrong with the system, or the full human cost of that system's failures. It's obviously not all negative, as with the other characters. That scene on the island is hugely important and gives you a great insight into Isla. But you do obviously need to be able to understand all the different sides of that and of that character. Tash, who obviously is in a relationship with Isla, is a bit different. It says at the start she's very quiet, and if you look through the play, even if you do like a scan through with it as a PDF, looking for a name, she doesn't really talk all that much. When she does, even then she just comes across as quite sort of quiet and controlled. She's in this relationship with Isla. There is a mention of her mother at one point earlier on, which is probably worth having a look at to have a think about how it might have impacted on her. But an awful lot of what you'll do with Tash is look at the relationship with Isla, and this dream that they have of getting out of care, and Tash is going to save up all of her money so that they can get a flat and get the kids back, and that's very much what she's aiming for. How is she getting that money though? She's getting that money through prostitution at 15 years old, and obviously that is an incredibly sort of dangerous thing to be doing, and we know that throughout. We know that Isla sort of talks about how much she worries about it relatively early on, and therefore it's not necessarily that you see what happens, you see it coming, what happens to her, but it's certainly foreshadowed through earlier parts of the play, and then obviously she disappears and is presumed, certainly by Isla very quickly, and I think then by the rest of us, is presumed to have been killed. Shortie is quite different and is quite interesting. One of the first things we see about her is that fight that she has with Ane, which seems very much to be about reputation, something that Ane has mentioned as well. If people think that you're tough, then the next place you go, you'll be kind of more all right. And Shortie gets into a fight with Ane. I think it's Tash that says, that's why she's done it. She wants to say she fought Ane and sort of lived to tell about it. There's a mention at one point as well. John, I think it is, has a bit of a go at her, and it's because she's a virgin. And it's interesting that seems to be something that makes her stand out as well. And the fact that she is, in comparison to the other girls, might tell you something about her as well. And then it's worth looking at the way in which she sort of changes and the way in which her relationship changes with Ane after Isla's death. So once Tash and Isla are gone, it's worth then looking at again at Shortie. Yes, looking at the relationship with Ane, but also looking at her character and how she changes as well once those two characters are taken away I suppose. So just a quick summary there of those three characters. We're looking for you to develop some notes on each of them, which could be relevant for the kind of analysis that we're doing later on.